What's up? What is going on, my dudes? Alright, give me a second. I gotta adjust the screen settings.
Get yourself some coffee.
Alright. Ooh, I like the hand. Alright, today we shall grow Grandpa. Good, it'll be grand, growing Grandpa. I think it would appear to be a point and click game. Are we ready? Let's just get into it. Yes, let's do a tutorial. This game is designed to be played with a mouse. The input required of you is based around clicking the mouse buttons. The right mouse button will change the cursor's image and function. Only when pointing indicated with the extended index finger can you, the player, interact with certain menu buttons and prompts. Please click below in the pointing mode to continue. The second cursor mode is indicated by the cursor's image featuring a hand extending all fingers. This mode concerns Alright. Pick up, place things, grab things. Ooh! I like that. But, okay, so it's a choice thing, so sometimes it's better to leave stuff alone. Hello? You can use digits 1, 2, 3 on your keyboard to reposition the trash can below. All right. All right, let's jump into it then. Week 1. Takes a while to grow a grandpa, I guess. I excuse Adrienne? During music class today. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go Adrian. During music class today and spoke with her about her recent string of demerits. It was our first time meeting outside of our quarterly evaluations, and I believe it went well. I can certainly understand Mrs. Richardson's classroom observations concerning Adrian's emotional state. Alright. She was, of course, intensely shy when we first met. As I understand it, she is similarly withdrawn in her classroom activities and only speaks or acts when she absolutely must. Some things she may simply will not do. Instead of participating in mandatory group activities, she will sit alone and accept that she will receive a demerit. So a very much introverted person. Before the meeting, I read Miss Richardson's parent-teacher report, which allowed me to estimate some about Adrian's home life. The parents were well educated and come from a prestigious background, but they lacked time to properly nurture Adrian. She's often alone, and when she is not, the parents seem to not understand the importance of warmth and affirmation when dealing with someone so young. It's called neglect. Having two parents of this reserved and icy temperament exacts an inhibition in a child. The child's imagination is subdued, but only ostensibly. We're using our vocabulary today. For it eventually finds its way into regular life. I surmised that I would not be able to reach out to Adrian by way of make-believe. Is that Adrian? How are you liking your new home? You've told me you used to live close by, but it can still be a big adjustment. A new room, a new school. The basement. I like that. The basement? Yeah, well, there's a lot of cool stuff. Mom and Dad sent me down there. Your mom and dad made you go? Yeah, but there's lots of cool stuff. Well, that's not why they sent me down there, though. Why did they send you down there? Fighting? They were fighting, shouting. I came in to help, and they shouted at me. They said, go clean up downstairs, so I went. That sounds tough. Did they fight a lot? No, well, it's alright, Adrian. Maybe you can tell me more about the basement instead. Okay, well, it was weird at first, the stuff down there. But cool. I found something living, sort of. That's very interesting, Adrian. Please tell me more. By indulging herself in her fantasies and stories, I was able to glean more of an understanding of Adrian's anxiety surrounding her home and parents. The symbols of Adrian's story seem to carry their own traumatic weight, and her exploration of the basement may very well be a vehicle for the conveyance of her anxiety. Whatever might come of our next meeting, whether she will engage in similar make-believe, I will set down her story here. Adrian's story begins with her dwelling in the basement with a trash receptacle and the goal of cleaning up. Alright, she's doing chores. She discovered one of the walls was covered in plastic bags, so she went to investigate, intent on tearing away whatever they covered. Interesting. Oh, okay. Alright. Upon removing the plastic trash bags from the wall, she noticed their interior lining was covered in glass. Like a window, I offered. No. She said, like a mirror, reflecting inward towards the animal they covered. I gently asked her what exactly this animal was. Here's where the material reality of the story took a turn for the explicitly fantastic and imaginary. Upon her discovery of it, at her gaze, it grew or extended its shaggy, harried self. Hair like the fur of a dog, I offered. No, she said. Not the fur of a dog, nor hair on her head. It grew out towards her, the animal's hair, reaching out. It was hard, standing almost straight, like the hair on a brush, a bristle, I offered. Yes, she said. Some bristly hairs. She was very afraid at first, but then very curious. I asked her what else was in the room. More things hidden away, she said. Things of Grandpa's as well. First, she found a hidden passage under the stairs. Inside were strange dolls, magic objects, naked, faceless figures. I heard these cryptic utterances and merely nodded. In order to keep the game of make-believe going, I only pressed for details where I thought necessary. The faceless dolls could be a simple metaphor for the anonymity she feels in her own home. The hidden passage, I'm unsure of what to make of that. The revealing of the concealed seems to be thematic in her fantasy. The door under the stairs is but one example. Yeah, we're gonna go back. I'm not messing with that thing. The darkness of the shadowy corner unnerves you. You cannot explore here without some form of light. Trash pile. Let's check out the trash pile. Alright, I guess. Well, I guess we interact with the thingy. Maybe? Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Once she removed the panel and found the magical hidden passage, she was very specific about what she took. She found a magic book, a magic doll, a photo of the late grandpa, and magic glue. What is all this trash, dude? All-purpose glue. We're gonna follow the story because it didn't say she took the doll. Why would it get dirty? Photo of grandfather. Let's read it. My PhD. On the reverse side of the photograph, there's more text. Good luck on your trip to the Urals. Stay warm. Paper crudely bound together to form a book. Eurasian steppe shamanism in the fusiform Urus, whatever. An interdisciplinary study in sympathetic magic. A dissertation. Jacob Hart. Let's read it. The impetus of this research was the recognition of a particular pattern in fragments of documents relating to magic and the magicio-religious practices. Numerous sources were drawn from commentaries on laws relating to the banning of sorcery and necromancy, compilations of folk charms relating to love spells, hagiographs of saints and their encounters with devils. The list spans many centuries and a great distance from the Levant to the Kaiser man. Whew. Yeah, to the border of the modern nation states of Russia and Kazakhstan today. Oof. From this paper trail arose a consistent account about a certain form of magic relating to the binding of demons to a sorcerer's will, a demon called the Heaven of Needles, or the Angel of Needles, was known to be kept best by shamanic keepers or wards who suffer from the face blindness, whether by birth or through developmental causes like a stroke or head injury. It was also known to be extremely effective but terribly dangerous, so much so that it became outlawed several times and was generally a popular scapegoat relating to unexpected death. This nexus of magistio-religious meaning making sorcery regarding human-related desires and the history and science of neurological disorders related to the fusiform gyrus, urus, whatever, is where the subject of the dissertation will reside. I will outline further and then analyze the historical sources I mentioned previously, and then I will go into the neurology of mystic and magio-religious experiences. After that, I will detail my ongoing correspondence with the resident of the Ural Mountain region, who is an expert folklorist and keeper of traditions he claims have been passed down through his extended family for generations. So I think this book belongs to the grandpa. It's written by him. All clean. All right. All right. Do I need to take the doll too, or? I might have to. I interrupted to ask what she did with these magical, mysterious materials. Girl Grandpa, she explained plainly, and then without missing a beat, she continued on with her story. Feeling this was a potent symbol, I stopped her again to ask what she meant. Somewhat puzzled, I did not understand immediately. She explained slowly. Grandpa lives in the cage in the other room. The cage behind the door. They grew people in the cage. Lovely. That's creepy. Some creepy mannequins, dude. Can I do anything about this trash here? It doesn't look that way quite yet. A door. Enter. Beyond the door in the room, the cage was hidden, concealed in another cloak of inward-facing mirrors. A hidden cage lined with mirrors. This basement is massive, by the way. It is strange, almost poetic. The elaborate fantasy of self-reflection, concealment, captivity. All this tape. At the cage, she finally cast her spell. But it was confusing. She confided, at first. She took the magic doll, the magic glue, and the photo of her grandpa. And she combined them. She wished very hard. I can only assume in this fantasy that next her wish would come true? In what child's story would it not? Particular human, yeah, grandpa, doll, glued together. Okay, a tangible symbol of intention and desire. She put grandpa in the cage, assuming that was part of the ritual. She was not clear on how it worked. What precise instructions she could glean. I was combining she and could together, so I made should. Isn't that funny? Alright, she could glean from her grandfather's magic book was complicated by her reading comprehension. I don't have reading comprehension either, as you can tell. Or just articulation. She wished with all her heart, and that she told me, and then she told me she waited a while for anything to happen, and after that time she began to cry. I cried real hard, she said. I wanted Grandpa to be back. I wanted my parents to stop being so mean. And it hurt me. It heard me wish for Grandpa to come back, for my parents to be different. I could feel it through the walls, and it felt me through the air. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she said. By this time, lunch was almost over. I said goodbye to Adrian, and she left to rejoin her class. I was left to consider our conversation. I believe the storytelling strategy I've employed was not unfruitful, but I must probe deeper if I can. Although I can be sure of nothing, I just realized there's like a very loud fan going on. I'll be right back. No, it's not a fan. It's my laundry. I forgot I had that in. All right, let's continue. Although I can be sure of nothing, I interpret the impressions I get may begin to help me get an idea of the right questions to ask. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to certain topics or keywords you can discuss with Grandpa. You've gained the conversation topic wish. Consider discussing this with Grandpa. Shell. So a whole week has gone by. I met again with Adrian in order to address her emotional outbursts in the past few weeks. It is our second time meeting, and while it is standard practice to have multiple sessions with a troubled student, as I assemble a report for the counseling department, I could not help but think, as I sat down in my office, that Adrian already seemed to show a remarkable change in self-esteem and confidence, and perhaps my and Mrs. Richardson's estimation of her as emotionally disturbed was erroneous or something like that. I don't know. The paralyzing shyness and withdrawn attitude Adrian possessed last week was not entirely diminished, but she seemed to hold herself differently this week. However, this only lasted as long as our conversation pertained to initial introductory pleasantries. When I began once again asking about her parents, her feelings regarding her new school, and her new home, she quickly lost what new confidence she had gathered up and withdrew again into herself. So once again, I partook in some collaborative make-believe, but this time I was aided by the fact that I had managed to do some research into Adrian's grandfather, and I had some insight into what she might actually be finding in the basement. Now this may be overstepping my bounds, some as a school counseling caseworker, but this was all in the service of making Adrian comfortable and happy in this learning environment. In any case, I was able to dig up information regarding the grandfather by inquiring at the university in town. Not that I make it a habit of sleuthing, but I had a suspicion the grandfather was a professor there, or at least some sort of researcher, due to the fact that the newly constructed laboratory on the campus I drive by every day bears his name in memorial. He was some sort of anthropologist or linguist or a neuroscientist. I did not have to dig that deep before the scope of his work became dizzying and I ran up against the limits of my undergraduate education. But back to the make-believe. What is your grandpa like? Is he a smart man? Not anymore, but I'm teaching him. So he's grown a good deal then? You have been feeding him well? Yeah, he's getting bigger, but he has a lot of room in his cage. He's still behind the bars? Yeah, well, he might be able to climb out eventually, but there's this vent in the ceiling. Well, perhaps if he climbs out, I could meet him someday. Yeah, maybe. But he's not ready to leave. He can't take care of himself. I have to feed him, pick up after him. Ah, you store food in your lunchbox. That's nice of you to share. He can almost talk. You cannot speak with him? He doesn't. He doesn't have a mouth, sort of. But how do you feed him? He has a mouth on the outside, on his shell, or the stuff that is his skin. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can go through a typical day with your grandpa. Okay. I asked her to explain how exactly she goes about growing her grandpa, and Adrian began another tale. According to Adrian, in the week that he had passed, much had changed in the basement.
That's some good narrating skills.
Dude, thanks, bro.
You don't have work today?
No. We shall visit.
Oh!
Read now. I've repeatedly called your homes to no avail, and so I am forced to leave this here for you all. I found William sitting in the corner of the enclosure area, seeming severely concussed. Whiskers was gone, in none of its usual hiding places. I immediately suspected the worst. The project thus must be suspended for now. I'm leaving up the usual mirrored coverings we used to keep the anthropoetic void sealed. I've done my best to lock up everything on such short notice. It is a hasty fix, but it will require some time to find a more permanent remedy. I'm honestly hoping you do not find this note, as I intend to lock the house down too. I intend to race off to you to retrieve your lockbox keys. Do not worry about William's key. It and the rest of his equipment is almost certainly deep within Whiskers by now. I pray you do not enter this room. No matter how it may appear, William cannot be helped, and it's only being kept alive as a means of continuing predation on the rest of us. I will say once again, no matter what state you may encounter William in, he cannot be helped. I have sympathy for the young man, I truly do, but I found on his person several photos of his late sister, which would imply certain risks he knew he was taking. Our extant research materials have now become possible liabilities, either criminal or professional in nature, so I have stashed them away. I believe I let you all know how I might do this if we were ever to experience an event such as this. I hope you all remember what I told you. So long then, Dr. H. Alright, we're going in. It was scary at first, she said. The way he moved, the way the doll's skin covered him. I wanted to interject. This somehow seemed inappropriate, but I kept listening. When I look at him, she continued, when I think about him, he grows and moves. It's like he's growing for me. So he's growing bigger now, I asked. Yes, she said, bigger every day. This begins the actual growing part of growing your grandpa. Beneath the doll's burlap skin, the follicles knit together what resembles a proper person, your grandpa. What's up, Gramps? You are in charge of its cognitive development and diet until it is able to sustain itself. Currently, you are observing Grandpa. Please click the arrow back button below for a brief tutorial on your duties as caretaker. Here we can see a variety of options regarding growing your grandpa. Highlighted in red are objectives related to feeding and teaching grandpa. Important messages regarding grandpa's recent activity will also appear here. You will need to find it food and learning material before you can move on to the next week. Some foods will make grandpa happy, others merely content. Some foods will make grandpa disgusted to the point of nausea. Learning material is also scattered throughout the basement. Seek out vocabulary cards intended to help teach English and basic anthropoetic concept formation. The options highlighted in red are related to navigating around grandpa's enclosure. The Go to Grandpa option will let you perform all actions directly related to Grandpa: feeding, teaching, observing, etc. Assessing the study corner will let you go over any documents you pick up as the weeks go by. It's a good idea to learn about the work of the people who last occupied this space. Accessing the kitchen corner will let you search for food in the old refrigerator and prepare food for Grandpa if need be. The help button will replay this tutorial. Save game button will save your current progress. You can only have one save file at a time, so if you have saved data, you will be asked if it is okay to overwrite it. The exit game button will take you back to the main menu. More buttons may or may not appear depending on the development of Grandpa, so watch out for them. Very well. One final note: take care to explore the basement at your leisure. However, due to the entropic nature of clutter and trash, different weeks may allow you to find things you have not previously discovered. Good luck. Alright. Let's explore the basement. I've been curious to explore this. A simple paper doll. This might be useful in construction of magic symbols. Folder of radiographic images. You can examine this in detail later at the study corner. Search the trash. We're just digging in trash as a little kid. Definitely some unsettling ambiance. Fiberglass insulation. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. Lovely. Yes, nothing says food like a pile of fiberglass. Alright. Cabinet. Examine. It's a rotten cabinet. Man, this place is just littered with garbage. Blueberries? No way. That's awesome. These look like moldy sponges. That's a doll? Let's read it now. An account of an acquisition. Before we began, he had us all cover our faces completely. An earthenware pot was illegible, and on the inside, as we stole brief glances at it, we could see the interior was inlaid with mirrors. The ineligible gave it small pieces of dough, spoiled food, chicken feed, keeping it content. The keeper gestured toward the small bag where the food composted and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. I asked if the rotting food was enough to sustain it, how it might get nutrients from any of this. The keeper regarded me seriously and said it did not matter what it was fed, the act of feeding it itself was what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act, however. He then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it. Okay, so note to self, don't feed it meat. Okay, so we need a key for this. Examine. Everything that was here is gone. Trash. Bulbous growth. Something appears to be growing from the wall. You take a closer look. Pulsating sac, the slimy membrane that is its skin seems to be containing something. Might be able to be opened with a blade. Lovely. Teach Grandpa this word to read the notes of past educators. Vocabulary card. Hello. Okay. Corroded battery. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. There we go. Okay, so I don't have a blade. Brown banana. Lettuce.
Lettuce.
Prepare fruit or vegetables. Let's do, we'll give him a smoothie. So I guess I can't do that, Okay, I think I read this already. Yeah, I read that. Back. Yeah, and I read that. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, here we go. The researcher will seal off the enclosure bars, ensuring minimal gas leakage during the later fumigating process, and retrieve the burn barrel. Place it near the enclosure. At least 48 hours of time where the current growth cycle experiences no human-related stimuli. Do not enter the enclosure area nor any parts of the basement. Ideally, you will not be on the grounds at all. After 48 hours, 2 researchers will enter the basement wearing their assigned mirror mask, mirror apron, and powered air purifying respirator. The researcher will use the vent system to fumigate the enclosed area, wait 30 minutes, and then use the fan system to ventilate the enclosure. Keep the fans running during steps 3 through 4. Re-enter the enclosure area wearing your assigned mirror masks and aprons. The organism may or may not be in complete dormancy. If it is not fully dormant, be assured that its capacity to act against you will be greatly diminished. With your assigned power drills, quickly remove any enclosure bars needed to access the organism. Put them aside for later reinstallation. Put the organism into the burn barrel, incinerate the organism thoroughly, wait for any smoke to be properly cleaned by the fan system. Turn off the fans. One researcher will retrieve the nucleus from the ash and place it in the mirror box. The other researcher will sift through the ash and place any other substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. The code is 323245. Researchers will fill out a termination form and leave it for Dr. Hart. 323245. 323. It was said to pass from one family of steppe people to another, but pressed on its ultimate origin, somewhere to the south, coiled in a bowl covered in incantations, buried upside down by a graveyard. A common late antiquity demon trap. The keeper, an elderly man in failing health, was ready to expound on and on about the dangers of the organism, but when I asked more pointed questions about the history of the acquisition, I was given curt responses that had a way of circling back to vague warnings. Cashews. research participants, please take note. Each growth from a cycle does not require a shell, but you may find the sample will often try and seize on something somewhat flexible it can grow into, along with any desirous yield it may generate, or else it will move from one shell to the next as it outgrows them. In the small amount of time I've spent with it in preparation, I have noticed it tends towards human forms. However, we should keep a tight lid on the anthropoietic seal in order to be cautious before we begin to experiment with exposing it long term to anthropoietic stimuli. Dr. Hart. Note regarding cleanup procedures. I do not mean to be overly severe in tone, but Dr. Hart's work is very important, and the material we are working with is potentially very dangerous. I will be handing out a copy of this note as a reminder to everyone. I am not trying to single any particular person out. We all have misconceptions about the nature of this project from time to time. With that out of the way, here are some things to keep in mind. The active growth must be thoroughly terminated via the correct procedures at the very least 4 weeks after dormancy is interrupted. It doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done regarding tests or procedures or how much the anthropoietic vacuum has been disrupted. We are not ready to go beyond 4 weeks at this point. A step-by-step guide to termination has been posted by the enclosed wall. Please do not place the educational posters over this posting. Do not disrupt the anthropoietic vacuum without Dr. Hart's prior consultation and approval. In the case of an emergency where the vacuum is disrupted, put on your equipment and begin the lockdown procedure. Make any extensive note on when and how the breach occurred. If you find the habitat empty, page Dr. Hart immediately. But do not attempt to speak with anyone else. This thing can get very smart. I'm sure you are all well aware from the stories we heard on acquisition trip. The greatest caution should be used when dealing with the potential aggression or aggressive mimicry scenario. Please seek me out if you have any more questions. William. All right. Day 19 after dormancy. Broken. Intriguing results with regard to mimic hypothesis. A participant entered a sealed chamber adjacent to Whiskers, growth cycle 21, which had been freed from the anthropotic vacuum, constructed quite economically from plastic and broken mirrors. The first propagation's original earthenware vacuum was shattered during the move-in. Between the two, there was semi-opaque glass panel that allowed observation both ways. The human participant was asked to think of someone in the popular consciousness, fictional or no, and cognate of this image, or their image, personality, face, if possible, voice, if possible, etc. Our participant chose Jesus of Nazareth, and with weekly repeated exposures to the participants' imaginings, propagation 21 began forming what resembled an anthropoid Nazarene in the fold of its spines. Previous human-oriented tests have always bore out a result that Whiskers would form an anthropoid team member, be it me or Dr. Hart or Gerald. We assumed it was merely mimicking one of us. Dr. Hart has always contended the desires yield or the anthropoid reproduction Whiskers creates when in contact with human beings has always been based on the conception and relation to the person through someone else. With this framework, the desirous yield is not actually a replica of a person, or if it is, this is only a replica of the fiction of a person generated in the mind of another. This desirous yield was not Jesus Christ, but the participant's image of Jesus, assembled from the religious upbringing, religious artwork, depictions in popular culture, etc. This radiograph was taken right before the destruction of the growth cycle, where Whiskers was rendered unconscious via fumigation. It seems like with every successive propagation, the stem cells in the organism work a little faster, but I'm not paranoid. It's technically deathless, yes, but we're burning up whatever knowledge it's gained when we incinerate it. I don't believe in magic just yet. How many different ones we got? Alright, so we got 3 more. Propagation 2, day 0 after dormancy. We've taken it to calling it Whiskers, though of course some have interrupted it as hair or needles or quills, but Whiskers is more accurate as the needles are really more like suprasensory follicles or spines. The nerve nets distributed throughout the morphology of these spines resemble those of genus Hydra, but they're functionally the same as vertebrae. As we can see in the X-ray, each spine is laden with dense optical arrangements similar to compound eyes. The Hydra connection is assuredly worth investigating with regard to organisms' capacity for regeneration and anecdotal deathlessness. It certain is a robust enough creature to inspire marvel that is not untinged with fear. Day 14 after dormancy. Exposure to mammalian forms, part of this series of zoomorphic influences, led to further understanding of the propagation's ability to simulate the somatic stem cells that constitute fully developed animals. I write stimulate in the previous statement because examining the tissue of each propagation leads me to believe its amazing capacity for accelerated growth or vastly different forms come from its cell level mutability. And yet at no time does its function as the thing it becomes except in the sense that it mimics it. That is to say, when Whiskers is removed from the dormancy and replicates a rabbit's morphology, it is not seen from the rabbit's eyes nor smelling from the rabbit's nose, but pretending that it does and doing a very good job at it. Alright, day 10. This radiograph was taken at around growth cycle number 4. The strange thing about it was the subject of the images was found nowhere near the enclosure. It's almost like a piece of Whiskers fell off and scurried into the corner. I feel like we've learned a lot since then, but at the time I remember speaking about the morphology being weird, not really even resembling any extent zoomorphic structure besides maybe a cuttlefish. Then I happened to open the thing up. Inside were all these little dead amoeba-like things. They all sort of looked like they had faces that were just barely there. After I took the radiograph, I gathered it up and went to go through it in the biohazard bin. As I walked by the bars of the enclosure, I could hear Whiskers suddenly going wild, flopping around and grunting excitedly. Could it have smelled the cuttlefish thing? Would it eat its own production? I guess it's technically flesh. This is beyond the scope of project, but it could be that without the stimulus of an active brain, or more specifically a health and active brain Capable of face recognition and theory of mind, Whiskers began to pull whatever it can from the limited data available to it. Again, this is not our focus at this time, but I left a note for Dr. Hart in case you want to take a look. Alright. That was weird. That is some weird stuff, man. Alright. We're gonna save. No, I wanted to go to the kitchen. Okay. Sluggish and bored. You get the feeling it may be more content and readily cooperative once fed and taught a word or two. Yes. With an animal to mimic a human mouth, it will need to be fed through this in order to properly learn and grow. First, you'll need to select an item from the lunchbox. Click on the lunchbox in the bottom right corner. The contents of the lunchbox will be displayed. Select the item from the lunchbox. Doing so will fill your hand with this item. Note that any food can be put back into the lunchbox by clicking on the lunchbox with the full hand. Before Grandpa can be fed, it must judge the food by smell. Hover your hand above Grandpa's. Okay. Alright, excellent. Left of its mouth. It's so nasty. Alright. key. All right.
Are you laughing at me?
Nope.
Yeah, you are.
I'm still streaming.
You're laughing at me.
I was picking up some stuff and spilled one of your bowls of leftover stuff on the blanket that's there. So I need to wash it at some point, yeah. So that's why that's there.
I'm gonna take a shower, so I'm gonna be listening to music.
Make sure the door's closed then. I'm not trying to get
It's going to.
copyright stuff for music. Okay. You control a small round icon that sits above the pentagon using your mouse. The ball is constrained to the limits of the pentagon. The goal is to keep the icon over the highlighted area and move it as the area changes sections around the pentagon. Okay. When you hold left click above the correct highlighted area, the icon will then start to vibrate along with the stimulated vocal cords. The current letter of the word will begin to turn red. Keep holding over the highlighted section and adjust your icon. As it changes place, soon the letter will become fully red. After every letter becomes red, Grandpa will proudly pronounce the word to you, and it will be considered learned. Teaching Grandpa these words will accelerate its cognitive development and lead to further breakthroughs in general intelligence. Yes. Oh. Bro. I didn't realize you had to hold it down. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module card and the notes. They're written by the administrators of the past. Da da da. Alright, we'll come back. We're gonna check out the... Where's that cabinet at? Bottom drawer. So I don't need any of this other stuff. wonder, can I use the key on it? I guess not. Dude, he's so smart. All right. Is there more food I can make? Ish. Alright, I'm not sure if there's anything I can do concerning the bulbous growth. Okay. You can only feed them so much. Okay, my bad. Sorry, Gramps. Ah. This is disgusting. Alright. My body, all human skin around me, give more, grow more to fit. Okay. Goodbye. Observe. Alright, I think that's going to be the end of the week. Mrs. Richards approached me the other day in order to remark on Adrian's development. She noted how much more at ease she appeared when called upon in class or when asked to participate in group exercises. I told her I had seen this change happening as well, and that as much as I would like to take credit for it, I can only guess dimly at what might be reshaping her attitude. Mrs. Richards my brain hurts, dude. That it was perhaps Adrian's family moving into their grandfather's property that caused the change. It apparently is out in the country, in a wooded area full of wide open space, far from the bustle and noise of the city. The grandfather, Dr. Jacob Hart, had jointly purchased the land with the university he was employed with and began constructing what he was intending to be a satellite campus for a only one building ever ended up being constructed after Dr. Hart died in a car accident when driving back from the property one day, eerily, at almost the exact same time. A grad student who was assisting Dr. Hart on some sort of project at the property vanished without a trace. The property sat in disuse for years as it was tied up in legal battles between Dr. Hart's next of kin, the university, the vanished grad student's family, and the other students Dr. Hart was working with. Eventually, the case was settled out of court. Only recently did the property fall into the possession of Adrian's mother. Obviously, I was not going to relay this whole tragic story of Adrian, who, for all I know, believes her grandpa to still be living in the basement of his home. Besides, I thought she might already know all of this. Perhaps the elaborate story she was constructing was her own way of escaping the morbid details of a life, or perhaps lives, cut short by the cruel force of fate and the cynical adults who squabbled in the aftermath. I determined perhaps the storytelling she was and continues to engage in should not be encouraged by me, at least not in the way I went about it before I made active inquiries into her strange fantasy of semi-sentient ball of skin. When I saw Adrian, I did not bring up her grandpa or ask questions about his growth. Adrian could not stop talking about it, however. I had no choice but to weather her bizarre, enthusiastic effusions about her new best friend. Adrian, maybe we can talk about something else. I'm not sure I'm following you exactly. He's gotten so big. He has so many whiskers that come out, and I can see them move around when I think about him. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm so happy Grandpa is back. He's so much cooler than Mom and Dad. Once again, for what it's worth, I put down the story she told me as best as I could. Adrian once again told me about growing her grandpa. This place gets dirty each week, man. They must just be throwing all their trash in the basement, and then at the end of the week, a kiwi, nice, very cool. All right, any developments with the bulbous sac? Nothing yet. What's this? Another note. Life. Alright. Alright, alright. Alright, alright. There's another one? Oh, gross. Alright, I'm gonna need something to get rid of those nasties. Indecision. Alright. So now we have more than one nasty poop just hanging out. Whoa, I didn't read these. For the sake of the university policy, health, future career, blah blah blah. Okay. Ritual behavior with the sample. Bargaining, trading will result in dismissal from the project. Okay. Every time Whiskers regenerates and leaves dormancy, it's marked as a new propagation for 5 weeks. Okay. Okay. All right. You can have the lettuce. Alright, let's do a kiwi. Ooh. Alright, thanks, dude. Let's go back and let's check out our disgusting growths. Yeah! This is nasty, dude. I'm glad I have these scissors. Haha. Dude, nice. Dude, I'm not feeding them that nast. Alright, awesome, dude. Let's go back to the cabinet. Okay, I already fed him. So let's teach him. Oh, he can eat another one. Alright, cool. Okay. Huh. So it does change its responses as it grows intelligence. Something to grow up. Okay. That one's about the same. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna see what happens if I refrain from feeding those things to him. It said somewhere about not feeding it flesh. So I'm gonna go that route as long as I can. Alright, observe. Alright, let's save, and then let's end the week. Week 4. The time I've spent compiling an evaluation on Adrian is almost up, and I still can't say what to make of her changes in mood. It is, of course, the case that children of Adrian's age are nowhere near finished learning and growing. I may have to simply be happy with that Adrian was able to improve her attitude. However, something in the odd and occasional grotesque stories she continues to bring up to me still strike me as meaningful. How's your week been, Adrian? Grandpa is almost ready. He's almost finished. Well, sort of. Ah, he's almost as big as his shell now. He has a face, and he can talk pretty well, and almost has legs. I see. As before, I put down the story she told me as best as I could. Once again, Adrian told me about growing her grandpa. Alright. So, I can't go there yet. Let's examine trash. Let's explore the wondrous basement filled with disgusting abominations. Is that soap? Alright, we found soap. Oopsies. Okay. Meaning. Excellent. Top drawer. Dude, I'm excited to see how Grandpa's doing this week, man. Okay. There's another bulbous growth. Lovely. Each area is getting a bulbous growth. That kind of scared me, not gonna lie. Alright, I honestly don't care if Grandpa will enjoy it. I am not letting him enjoy it. I think I'm about to let Grandpa eat poop. He can eat battery acid and soap and insulation, but he's not going to be eating fleshy turds. No way. Ain't no way. Flatbread. Nice. A mushroom. Another word. All right. Yes, we are being thorough. I'm just seeing what all we can collect. Just for the sake of growing Grandpa, you know? We need every bit of resource we can find. And we're limited to what we can find in this basement, so we're gonna leave no stone unturned. Kitchen. achievement. So that's pretty sweet. Dude, do you ever just combine apple and soap? Delicious combo right there, dude. Alright. Glue together. Why didn't I ever think to do that before? Okay. Go to Grandpa. Okay. 1, 2, 3. We'll try these 3 after, of course. Alright, that's what you get, Grandpa. Now enjoy your flatbread. Okay, we'll do this. Sniff it out. Alright. And here's the mushroom. There you go, dude. Okay. Examine stomach contents. We found a flashlight. Let's go. Thanks, buddy. Thank you very much. Now we can explore this other area. Waste bin. It was 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5. Wasn't it? Okay, I'll come back for that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, whatever. Alright. I need to double check the combination. Study corner. Look over documents. Okay, I didn't read this. On the venture of the prudent when dealing with devils, seen or unseen, the splendors and terrors of God's creations inhabit the world. Da-da-da. Okay. 323 323 245 323 245 323 425 323 425. I don't know why it's not working. Alright, let's go back to that note. I don't know what the deal is with that. I just did it wrong. Photo of your father as a young man. Okay. Time to teach Grampy Poo. Beginning. That one he picked up on rather quickly. Good job, Gramps. Okay. Okay, so he's not interested. Observe. not trying to feed it meat. Sorry. Really? Okay, I guess save, and then we will end the week. Week 5. Who could that be? Come in, Adrian. Good to see you. Aren't you a little early? No matter, I suppose I have some time right now. How have you been? How's your grandpa doing? That's why I wanted to talk to you. Something happened. Oh, what happened? Nothing bad, I hope. No, nothing bad, just different, I think. Maybe even good. Well, I'll tell you all about it. Last night something woke up. There was this noise at first. It was like it came from the walls. I could hear it from my bedroom. There was something else. Something calling. I could hear it just barely. I was afraid somehow Grandpa hurt himself. I had to go find out. I went downstairs and the vent, the place where I first found Grandpa, or what I grew him with, it was open. Do you remember how I told you about the vent in the ceiling behind the bars? I think he had climbed up into it. He had gotten so big, he could have done that. Maybe he had gotten trapped somehow in the vent. I had to go see. I got inside. I heard the calling again, more clearly this time. Grandpa was definitely in the vents somewhere. I could feel him hearing my thoughts. I got that weird feeling, sense in the air. I had to go forward. Alright. As I moved in closer, the vent had stuff in it, the kind of slimy, hairy stuff Grandpa would leave around a lot. He was definitely close. Something was there at the end. But it wasn't Grandpa. It looked more like he had made it through. It was slumped in the corner. Had a weird mouth and its lungs on the outside, and drew in just enough air to call out. And then it just stopped breathing. And then something was hanging over me. And then I woke up in my bed. In your bed, Adrian, it sounds like you're just having quite a dreadful dream. Are you alright, by the way? Your face is twitching like you're about to have a violent sneeze. It's fine. It's just Grandpa, you see. It took me a little while to figure out, but later when I was brushing my teeth, I saw one of Grandpa's whiskers poking out, just out of the space under my eye. And I started to remember how in the vent he hid inside of me. It was so fast, I could barely remember, but soon I started to feel him sliding around in my head. Behind my forehead, behind my eyes and nose. It doesn't hurt at all. It's just ticklish. I'm glad I can be with him. Oh, I can feel him now. I think he wants to meet you. Part of him is moving down my arm. Oh, I'm starting to get worried, Adrian. You really should not be twitching like this. I should walk you down to the nurse's office. Come on, let's go. You should really meet him. I've told you so much about him. Here. What are you doing, Adrian? You're starting to look very ill. Please, just wait. Just stay still. He's gathering, waiting at my fingertips. Why do you look like that? You don't have to be afraid. Look. Excuse me? Oh, okay. I guess I lose. Alright, we got the bad ending. I don't know what I did to mess up. Maybe I was supposed to feed it some meat or something? Alright. Continue. Can I still feed him? Feed Grandpa. Okay. Huh. Ah, you're asking me about your wish? When you wished for me to come back, that's when I knew I would. Your desperation was strong, and your wish for your parents, well, if you give me what I want, I'll give you what you want. You know I love you. I am for you, whatever you want, and I love you just as much as you love me, but desperation and love is not enough. People deep down know they can't get what they wish for without some transformation. There's something that sits at the root of everyone's soul that understands the separation between them and eternity. You may desire something, but you know you will not get it without some movement on your part. So it is not enough to just wish, which you know will not work. You must wish in a little more to transform your intention into something that might or for desire to become reality. Okay, cool. Oh, you're asking me about my shell? Oh, well, you see, I like to have something to grow in, something shaped like a person. It helps me have something surrounding me. When I don't have my skin, my whiskers do the growing. My whiskers, yes, you know, the hairy little things. I am part of it, and it is a part of me. However, my whiskers are what heard you wishing for me to come back, and so they went to work in the shell you provided. The shell also helps you envision me as well as what you desire. You have such a nice imagination. If I weren't in my shell, you'd have my whiskers exposed and knitting together my face. That might interrupt the feedback loop of my reading your desires and the acting upon the desires I've read, and once again reading your reaction. We wouldn't want that interfered with. The material of the doll you put down is good fit. It's not the most comfortable, but it's quite flexible, and thankfully my shell was able to adjust nicely to my growth. Ah, asking about the medical waste bin. I believe it's locked up. I heard them punch in the code many times as they placed part of the burnt up dying self into the bin. They often forgot what the code was and had to go check on the wall where they were always taping up sheets upon sheets of information, so much so that the new papers would cover the old. What do you think you would find there? Well, perhaps something. They did throw trash inside from time to time, bits of paper and so forth. I remember seeing a man who looked quite like me. His daughter had given him a photo of her new boyfriend. He threw it into a bin in disgust and joked with one of his colleagues. It may still be in there for all I know. You're asking about language. Well, the more you taught me, the more I was able to learn myself by hearing what you are thinking and saying. A week ago I could speak a little bit, but I was less of what you imagined me to be and not quite the talker I am at the moment. Part of what I'm saying is, of course, made up of of what you expect me to say. I think I'm very comfortable being open and honest with you because I'm your grandpa and I love you, and certainly that makes up part of what I am. However, there is a part of me deeper down, the thing that created me, maybe, that undying nucleus. It is answering for me as well as the unaffected by whoever might shape what I become with their thoughts. Well, yes, they come from me, they grow around in pockets of flesh and protoplasm. Think of them like dreams. Maybe I'll explain. Have you ever had a dream that was sort of like a bunch of people, places, events, experience, all mixed together and jumbled up? It's sort of through and disposing of the refuse of the mind. My little friends are like that. Refused and in riddling myself of them, I'm casting off the excess material I did not use in developing life forms. Anyone who comes close to me, well, they are my eyes, my nose, my skin. Their thoughts become mine and shape what I make. However, when I was alone for so long, I didn't have a lot of people near me. What are you thinking and expecting of me in shaping what I'm saying? How I'm saying it, do you understand? And so, because I did not have enough input from my own surroundings in order to put the material to use, the material falls off my body, crawls away, and usually dies. I'm able to make the most of my material when someone is looking right at me, projecting who I will be, like you are now. What are you thinking and expecting of me in shaping? Okay. Proboscis. It is just a little tube I need to help me feed blood. You could say it's my real mouth, but it's not really a mouth. It appeared because you fed me flesh. One of those little friends you found, I think. You feeding me flesh was a symbol of proposition, if you will, that you wanted to hold up your head, your end of the bargain with regards to your wish. If someone is willing to hold up their end of the bargain, let me feed on them with my proboscis. Then they can move on to the next step of agreement, providing me symbolic instructions. I hope. Do I like blood? Well, my whiskers, I believe they like the blood and the flesh. It's strange. They are me, and yet they are now me. I'm bound to them. They control me, and technically, yes, they did make me. However, you were the one who really grew me. In some ways, those whiskers, they are me, or a part of myself, or I am a part of it. The part is much more animal-like. Whatever might happen, know that I will always love you, because it controls me. I might not be able to act how I would like, even if I do love you. Well, at least it's honest. Alright, can I feed it more of them then? You might be too full to eat it. What am I supposed to give him? Just be one more thing you must give, if only for the sake of prosperity. Da. What am I supposed to give him? I have a feeling I'm gonna get the same ending. Alright. We'll skip through all the dialogue as long as it's the same thing. May have to start all the way over to get the other ending. Yeah. Yeah, I think we got the same ending. I don't know how to give the... It must be... I fed it the wrong things. Or something, I don't know. I don't even know if I can... Well, I got the bad ending. I don't know if I want to play through the whole game again. I mean, I guess I can just skip all the dialogue? No. Okay. Alright, blah 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 blah. I just don't know at what point I messed up at. Should just be automatically on to. Okay. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna collect all I can on this first day, save the game, and then I'll try to get through the other parts of the game, collecting everything. And then I think what I'll do is once I get the scissors, maybe I'll incorporate flesh, meat, whatever in his diet this time around, and then maybe he'll take the dolls or something. I don't know. I'm not entirely certain. Okay. It's not exactly all cut and dry for me. Okay, I need the key for that. I wonder if I feed him the battery first, if it's a different outcome. Do I get the different item per which thing I feed him? Or is it just randomized? Okay, ba 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 ba. Okay, that's all I can do for now with that. Let's enter. Let's go to the kitchen. Just gather up all that we can get. Head back. Study corner. I don't know if we get any additional details. Good, we already did that one. Okay. gonna go ahead and save it. Yes. Go to Grandpa. Oh, I didn't. Poop. I need to mix the food. Banana with. Let's try the battery this time. Okay. Alright. And weak. Yes. Alright. Just hope my efforts here actually get the ending. The other ending. Okay. Okay, excellent. This growth. Acceptable foods and teaching. Alright. Go to Grandpa. Feed Grandpa. Alright, I got some lovely foods for you. Oh, okay. Alright. Interesting. You can have cashews. And let's do strawberry. Alright, dude. Each grandpa. Indecision. Okay. Let's go to him. Observe. Week 4. La-di-la-di-da-di-da. Go to Grampy Pampy. Okay. Okay. Let's go check the waste bin. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe that was the piece I was missing. Alright, there's that. Burning. Okay, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Go to Grampy Poo. Let's attempt to communicate with him. Okay, he looks... Observe. Okay. I don't know, is this the very end, or this might be the very end? I might have goofed. Yeah, I think I goofed. Yeah, I goofed. Yeah, I goofed it. Okay. I think I know what I need to do now, though. Well, that's poopy. Hmm? Continue. All right. Go to Grandpa. Did I make a... I didn't. All right, go to kitchen corner. Prepare food. Banana with... doesn't matter. Conceal. Go back. Go to Grandpa. Feed Grandpa. So... Alright. Okay. missing anything. Alright. Blah, blah, blah. Go to Grandpa. Okay, let's feed this loser. Or wait. Go to Grandpa. Observe. Observe. Okay, let's teach him a few words. I know how to do it. Yes. Observe. Feed. Okay. Teach Grandpa. All right. Okay.
like their breakfast pizza.
Alright, I think we're on the right track now. I just hope this is it. I'm just trying to see how the other ending goes, man. I considered just stopping recording and stuff, but, you know, whatever. Dude sounds like Thanos. to communicate. Just gonna go through these because I'm not entirely certain if me not communicating will trigger something. Oh no, I'm just not trying to go through all that again. Okay. And week, yes. Week 4. Alright. Let's get it. Let's get it. There's my soap. We're gonna save it here. I think this is kind of the turning point of where we're at here. Teaching. Okay. Alright, this one we haven't read yet. Thank you so much for completing the contract. I'll definitely help you out with your parents. Just give me a little time and I'll be ready to act. I think you'll be very happy. Your grandpa's very happy too. You did it all by yourself, you know. I couldn't have helped you if I tried. I would have really not have liked you. Well, I didn't want you to complete the contract. I would have hated that. But do you understand why I would have had to? Maybe you don't. So much of your lives are made up, and yet what comes to pass was always once a fiction. You doubt yourself and your plans before they are even begun, and you believe what is in front of you as if the essence of things was not something you put there long ago. Too much doubt can suffocate even the surest thing. Only with patience and growth and nurturing does something become what it will be. As soon as you soon shall see. Okay. Well, that should do it. Fingers crossed that this changed up the ending. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, people. If this doesn't do it, I don't know what will. Alright. What? Oh, it is different. Enter. I think Grandpa had to leave, but before he left, he made my parents nice. He reached inside and changed them. That was my wish. Maybe even what I was growing wasn't really my grandpa. Grandpa left what I was growing behind. He is gone now. He moved quickly out to I don't know where, but I'll always love him. I dismissed Adrian soon after, letting her know it was a pleasure getting to know her. Despite my apprehensiveness about the speed of the turnaround she has made, I cannot see any reason why Adrian should be considered for further evaluation. And as a counselor for Adrian, let it be known that I believe she is of sound mental and emotional health. I'm pleased to see things turn out this way, and if I may make a brief addendum, by happenstance, Mrs. Richardson bumped into the Hart family the other day while running an errand. She told me the parents were a little odd, but very pleasant, and quite clearly they adored their child, and that she had never seen Adrian happier. I think we did it. Yep. Yeah. We did it. Whew. That took forever, but we got both endings. Alright. And with that, I'm gonna call it there. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, dudes. Later.